Nigga, I am a god.
So I wasn't sure if I was gonna write a review about this movie, but I guess I decided to. I didn't really have much to say about it, to be honest with you, but in short, this movie kinda sucks. Thor Love and Thunder makes WandaVision 2 look like a masterpiece. If you're looking for an interesting movie that brings the last Avenger back into the fold, this movie isn't for you. It basically undoes all the character development for the last 4 Thor movies. So, at the end of Endgame, Thor had given up his position as king of Asgard, and at first I was okay with this because
Nigga,
it
I
was
am
going
a
to be a
god.
little boring to see Thor dealing with paperwork all day, trying to run a kingdom, even though he's a warrior. And plus, a lot of his comics actually involve him going out on adventures rather than staying in Asgard. But this movie showed that he could still be king and go on adventures. So Thor became a man-child.
No!
Actively avoids responsibility. This is weird because he's the last useful Avenger, and I'm trying to figure out why they would do something like this. If anything, he should be pushed to the front. He is the last active Avenger. He should take a more central role, a more leadership position. I mean, they're literally running out of characters, and he is the last one left, especially from the original Avengers Legacy. So why would you treat him like this? Anyways, back to the movie. Thor has been going on ventures with the Guardians of the Galaxy until he discovers that a great threat that seems to be killing gods, Gorr the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale, has set on a mission to kill all the gods because of the death of his daughter. This brings him directly in conflict with Thor.
It is. Why did you throw me gloves?
To catch these hands! Yeah! I am a real man before I'm a god.
Wielder of Mjolnir shows up and fights. This wielder is none other than Jane, played by Natalie Portman. Gorr manages to capture all the kids in Asgard and hold them hostage. Thor goes on an adventure with Jane and Valkyrie to get them back, but Jane has a secret. She has cancer, and every single time she transforms, she actually gets weaker. They travel to get help from other gods, but none of them seem interested in the threat of their own demise. Thor, Jane, and Valkyrie travel to Gorr. During this battle, Jane is weakened and Valkyrie is injured. This leaves Thor to face Gorr alone. He manages to find the kids, give them the power of Thor to help him in battle. Fearing that she might lose Thor, Jane takes up the hammer one last time, sacrificing herself. Gorr still ends up accomplishing his goal, which is to get eternity to grant him one wish to get rid of all the gods. But instead, he chooses to revive his daughter. Thor is seen at the end raising Gorr's daughter, and that is the end of the movie. I just saved you $10. Chris Hemsworth carries this movie. He gives an amazing performance, even with the crappy script, he pulls it off. They brought back Natalie Portman, but they have like no chemistry. And I wish someone would look at me the way Thor looks at that damn hammer. I was way more invested in the love triangle between his hammer and the axe than I was anything else in the movie. So when Chris Hemsworth is the only thing on screen by himself talking to a hammer, that's literally the best part of the movie. Everything else can pretty much be thrown in the trash. Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth pretty much have no chemistry at all, like I said before. But Natalie Portman and Valkyrie kind of do. I mean, if you told me that they were in a relationship together, it would make more sense and be more believable, to be honest with you. Gorr the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale, doesn't really belong in this movie. I mean, I got a feeling he put a lot of effort, put a lot of work, and put a lot of sacrifice into doing this role, but his tone didn't match what they were going for in the movie. And if anything, he should have drawn it back more because there was way too much comedy. I mean, if you think about how Thor Ragnarok was, how Hela was, she still complimented that movie in a way where it's still balanced out. But his performance just didn't match what they were going for in the movie. I also feel like they should have put more emphasis on Thor not being king of Asgard a little bit more. They should have had more situations where he was speaking and either people were ignoring him or just kind of dismissed him because he abandoned his people in their eyes. I mean, he was the king of Asgard. They got slaughtered in half by Thanos and his army, and now he's talking to them like they have to listen to him. They don't have to listen to him anymore. I mean, what would be the point in listening to him? He abandoned his people. And I felt like they should have focused on that a little bit more and take a more serious tone with this movie. Aside from that, Thor can now grant people the power of Thor. Like, if you could do this the entire time, you could have saved the Avengers a lot of headache. I cannot count the amount of times that this would have been useful. I mean, think about it. If Black Widow had the power of Thor, that would be a problem. Don't even get me started on the fact that Thor ends up as a single father at the end of the movie. The person who is responsible for the death of someone you love asks you to raise their kids and you do it? Bruh, I would have dropped that little girl off at Asgard and told the Valkyrie to take care of it because you ain't got me raising kids that ain't mine. I mean, that's pretty much it. This movie is basically a 5 out of 10, but that's pretty much it. I'm your boy Rant and I'm out.